It might not be as common as visuals or sounds or sensations of touch, but poets do use imagery to connect to our sensation of taste. So as you're reading a poem or after you're done, you can think about how are they trying or what tastes is the poet describing. Um, Now, obviously, eating and food is a huge part of the human experience. I love to eat. I love to cook, and as I'm watching cooking shows or cooking YouTube videos, I'm always amazed at how many descriptive words chefs have to describe the foods they're creating. Something is refreshing or stale or zesty. Like these words carry a lot of meaning and a lot of connotation to help the viewer or the reader really understand what that taste is. And I think this poem by Lee Young Lee uses imagery and uses this sense of taste to help build to an overall point. So in Eating Together, Lee Young Lee writes, "In the steamer is the trout seasoned with slivers of ginger, 2 sprigs of green onion and sesame oil. We shall eat it with rice for lunch, brother, sister, my mother, who will taste the sweetest meat of the head, holding it between her fingers deftly, the way my father did weeks ago. Then he lay down to sleep like a snow covered road, winding through pines older than him, without any travelers, and lonely for no one." Now, let's start maybe on the second half of the poem, especially the line, the way my father did weeks ago, then he lay down to sleep. To me, I think the second half of the poem is describing the loss of a loved one, the loss of his father. It sounds like his father has passed away and moved on, like moved on to some other place. Winding through these pine trees without any travelers. To me, it's this description of the journey into the afterlife. But that starts with this description of this trout and the ginger and the onion and sesame oil and rice, and that this trout, the meat of the trout, it's the sweetest meat. And I think what Lee Young Lee is doing is setting the reader up with these very descriptive, very real world sensations of having a meal. And I think it's like this very intimate moment of the brothers, the sister, the mother, maybe sitting at the head of the table for the first time, painting this really clear picture of the meal they're enjoying together, what it looks like, what it tastes like. And it transitions into the feelings that connects. Like I think there's a ton of connection between food and memory and food and emotion. And I think he's trying to bridge the gap between the two, to paint this picture of this meal the family's having together, to make it seem extremely real, to then transition into what the family's going through as they enjoy this meal, like the significance and importance of the meal they're enjoying after the loss of their father. And I think that really hinges on having a really clear understanding of the meal, which hinges on this taste imagery, these strong descriptions of taste.